Hello there, my YouTube family. Hope you all are doing good. Welcome to yet another new episode of What Goes Unsaid podcast with your girl Lynn here. And if you're new here, this is a safe space for me and you to have bold conversation, all things positive vibes with an extra fun on it. So if that content helps you in any way, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. Just share with your friends. Let them know that your girl is here, of course. Anyway, we're gonna get right into our episode today, which is you have to be okay with being alone. And I think I touched a little bit on this topic a little on my previous video. I can't remember which is, but I'm gonna show you somewhere here. Anyway, yeah, you have to find peace with being alone. You have to be okay with you being on your own sometime, because if you are not okay with you being alone, if you are not satisfied with your solitude, if you're not finding joy with your solitude, if you're not feeling happy on your own, etc., then how do you expect to find all of that out there from other people? Just let me break it to you, because the truth is you won't. It always has to start with yourself, with your soul. You get what I'm saying? Because we kind of sometimes forget that we might be looking for things out there: happiness, joy, satisfaction, validation, blah blah blah, stuff zote. And we forget that if you are not satisfied with your work as an artist, if you're not satisfied with your work as a content creator, as whoever you are, if you're not satisfied with that, if you don't look at that work of yourself and you're like, oh my, I did good there, I fucking love that work, I did it for myself, that's beautiful, I love it. If you don't see that, if you don't say that to yourself, how do you expect others to kind of be okay with yourself doing whatever you are doing? You have to be your own fan first before you look for validation from other people. Because the moment you stop kind of being the happiest version of yourself when you are on your own, that means it doesn't matter where you will be, it doesn't matter who you will be with, you always feel like that. That's because you haven't kind of allowed your inner soul to feel okay with being alone. You haven't kind of unblocked that chain of, okay, I need to look for happiness from other people, I need to find joy from other people, I need to always have people around me for me to feel happy, for me to feel good, for me to feel satisfied. Because you finding other ways of being happy from other people, that means you haven't allowed yourself mentally or physically or even emotionally to be okay with yourself being alone. And society has made it feel like, or they have made it seem like, a human being to be alone, that's the most not fun person. You're not fun if you're alone. You're not a happy person if you're alone. You're a weirdo. You're a nerd. You are too much. That's why you have been alone, because people can't handle you, this and that. No. I think that, all that being said, first of all, there's nothing wrong with being alone or with being aware, with being any of those people that kind of have made it seem like you being a lonely person doesn't mean that you are not fun. No. That means you have come to a self-aware moment whereby you're like, me, I'm gonna be on my own, instead of having a bunch of people around me who make me feel less of a human being. You get what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with being a weirdo or not or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But you having that self-aware of, I rather be on my own than have people around me who don't value my time, they don't value my presence, they don't value my identity, they don't value my self-respect, they don't value any of that. I rather be on my own. And I think you figuring that out, that a lot of people who are in your life, most of us, we forget that it's a two-way thing. If you're having people around you, if you're having people in your life that they don't see you as a person, that they don't care about you as a person, that they don't love you as a person, because they think you being a version of yourself whereby you are constantly always trying to improve yourself identity, you are always constantly trying to make changes, not only to other people but also to yourself. They think that you're not supposed to do that. Because this is the funny part about humanity. We intend to hate, judge, criticize, stigmatize things that we don't understand. And when we are doing all this, we don't first of all get the understanding of, okay, how does this work? How does this help? Okay, oh, this is new. How does it go this and this? We don't get that. We don't get to understand. We don't get to learn. We don't get to figure out how it works before we judge, before we hate, before we criticize, before we stigmatize. We just hate because it's new. It's something we are not used to. It's something that we don't know. So what's the other way to treat it? Let's just shame it. Let's hate it. Let's stigmatize it. Let's bully it. Let's do this and that, because that's the easiest way. Because we are too much of a coward to even understand it first before we hate it. So when people see you being your version of yourself, whereby you are not only being alone, but you are finding comfort, you're finding joy, you're finding happiness on being on that level of being your honest version of yourself, because you finding comfortableness on your solitude. People are never gonna like that. People are never gonna find it okay for you being by yourself and doing things by yourself and finding that as comfortable as possible, because we have been intended to always think of, we are human beings, we need other people, of course we do. But would you rather be treated as nothing by other people because you have to be with those people? No, hell no. I mean, no way. So you being on your own, you finding that peace on your own, you getting that awareness that me being on my own is the best thing that I'll ever do to myself. I need to do this. I need to find self-respect within me. I need to find joy within me before I go out there and ask people to give it to me, or to kind of force them to show me love, to show me kindness, to show me this and that. Because that means that you having to go out there and look for happiness and joy and whatever you're looking for, even if it's materialistic stuff that you're looking for out there, that means you haven't found comfort with you being on yourself, with you being on your own. Because being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. Being alone doesn't mean that you're weird. Being alone doesn't mean that you're not fun. No, being alone means you have self-worth, whereby you rather be on your own rather than have people around you who make you feel less of a human being, who make you feel less of who you are, who make you feel like you being your best version of yourself is not something to be grateful about, it's not something to enjoy or anything like that. You have to be okay on you being on your own before you go out there and look for whatever you're looking for out there. You have to find it within yourself first, and when you do that, I think now it will be okay for you to go out there and look for it on other people, find it on whatever you're trying to find it from. Because it doesn't matter where you are, where you have come from, where you're going, or who you are, whoever you fucking are. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is who you are when you're alone. What matters is who you value yourself first before you go out there and value other people's. What matters is how you view yourself. What matters is how you treat yourself, how you see yourself. And when you have that awareness of, I see myself as this, I see myself as this and that, I see myself as a different person every day, because that's how you have always viewed in your mind, that I have to be a different version of myself to find happiness from other people, to find joy from other people. And you forget that is not the way that you should be treating yourself. You get what I'm saying? Because if you always have to constantly change yourself to feed on others people's lives because you feel alone when you are on your own, that means you don't respect yourself enough, you don't value yourself enough, you don't value your time, your energy, your privacy. because you're constantly always trying to strain your soul and your mind to always change every time, because I have to fit into other people's opinion, to other people's validations, because I have to be okay with that, because that's how we have always been meant to fail by society, that you have to fit into a certain class for you to be happy, how to fit into a certain class for you to always feel satisfied, for you to always feel joyful or happy or anything like that, because we have always been meant to see that you being on your own, you being on yourself is not the fun thing to do. You have to always have a bunch of people around you. And we forget that. You have to find solitude in you, whereby you have to constantly be on your own for you to find peace, for you to find comfort, for you to find kindness within you, for you to always feel comfortable with yourself. Because if you're not comfortable with yourself, you're not joyful on your own, if you're not finding happiness on your solitude, if you're not always finding joyness with you being alone, then, as I told you guys, I'm gonna break it to you. If you're trying to find it out there from other people, you are damn wrong, because all of that, it needs to come from in here before you go to look for it out there. So make sure that you are being your happiest version when you are alone, because you don't need people to make you feel good, you don't need people to make you feel happy, to be grateful, to be kind, to be whatever. No, you don't need people to make you feel all that. You need yourself first before you go out there and make it okay for people to make you feel all those things. Because if you're constantly always trying to find all those things from other people, then you will never find it. You always have that moments of life whereby you flip back and you're like, okay, I was happy for 2 years and now I'm not happy. You know why? You know why that happens to a lot of us? Have you ever gotten yourself into that kind of situation whereby you are happy for like a year and a half or 2 years and a half, or whatever time it was, and now you feel an emptiness within you when you kind of just pull back and you isolate yourself for a bit, in a good way though, you isolate yourself in a good way, and you just pull back and you're like, okay, let me take a break from the world, and you feel this overwhelming sadness that is overflowing inside you, and you're like, okay, I was happy for like a week or 20 days or whatever it was time. Now what happened? We are not happy. What the hell happened? Let me tell you what happens. See, when you come to that part whereby you are happy for a few minutes or for a few hours or even years or days or months, and now you're not, that means your happiness was depending on something or somebody. That's what happens. You are happy, now you're not. That means that happiness wasn't coming from you, it was coming from another person or another thing or whatever it was, and now you're not happy. The reason being, you weren't happy in the inside because you are depending on other people to give you that happiness, and now that they are gone, or you feel like it's too much, you have to take a break from that, and now you're on your solitude moment, you feel all this overwhelming sadness. And that's the part about humanity where we forget that is what happens to a lot of us. You are happy for a year or two and now you're not, meaning you are depending on other people to give you all that happiness or that joy. But you forget that you being happy doesn't depend on other people. You can't give people all that power over you for your happiness. That, no, darling, you have to find that in yourself for you to feel good, for you to feel comfortable, for you to feel joyous. All that, it has to come from here. So make sure whatever you are looking for out there, you have first of all looked for in yourself, because you have to be okay with you being on your own. You have to fall in love with you being on your own. You need to isolate yourself sometimes for you to find yourself, for you to get the understanding of what am I for? What is my purpose? Who am I? You can't do that with all the noise around you. You can't do that. You can figure out all of that if you keep on allowing people to kind of get into your life and make you feel like you being on yourself is not the best thing to do. So you have to kind of being okay with you being alone. You have to find joy on that. You have to find peace on that. When you do that, things become easier for you, and you realize that, okay, me being on my own doesn't mean that I'm a fucking not fun person. No, that I'm a weirdo, that I'm a nerd, that I'm not 100% human being. No, There's nothing wrong with being any of those. But that means that you have self-value. Just like I said, guys, you have to kind of get that self-value whereby you get that realization that I should be on my own. I rather be on my own rather than have people around me, a bunch of people around me who don't value my time. They don't value my respect. They don't value my privacy. They don't value me as a person. They don't value my creation as a human being. We are all messy. We all have flaws in a way. If people don't value those parts of yourself, the good and the bad parts, then what the hell are you doing with them? So make sure that whatever you are trying to look for out there, you have first of all found them within yourself. You have found that joy, happiness, kindness, meaning, all of those things that you're looking for out there. Find them within yourself first. And then you can go ahead and just look for them out there, because it doesn't matter where you are, who you are, where you have come from. What matters is how self-worth you have, how much you kind of love yourself, you kind of see yourself, you kind of know yourself, and that's all that matters. So find solitude with you being alone. Get that comfortableness with you being on your own. And when you do that, things become easier for you. So find peace with being alone. Find joy as to be with you being alone. Find that happiness that you're looking for out there. Don't depend it on other people. No, depend on yourself to give yourself that happiness. And when you do that, things become easier. And yes, guys, thank you so much for sticking by until the end.